totally accidentally closed down my iPad while I was talking. As you're learning this, I highly recommend you use pictures. Pictures are real nice. You can draw them out real easy and add them up. Now, what I do want you to know is that while pictures are nice, you are expected to be able to look at it in non-picture context. For example, you might be given 2 points, 2, 3, and -1, 5. You may be asked to find the slope given 2 points. Now, you are allowed to graph. You're allowed to use graph paper. I highly recommend doing that. Some of you will be familiar with the formula that's used, which is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. That is the formula that you'll see in textbooks for slope. And all that's doing is finding the difference in y values and finding the difference in x values. And what I want you to see here is we were actually doing this. When I was counting up, right here, 1, 2, I was literally finding the difference between the y values in these 2 points. When I was counting over, 1, 2, 3, 4, I was quite literally finding the difference in the x values between those 2 points. And so what I want you to understand is that all we're doing is finding the difference in y values, difference in x values, difference literally meaning subtraction. And to do this, showing work way to show work non-graphically would be to simply say, okay, I'm going to call this point 1, and I'm going to call this point 2. Oops, that should be y1. And I'll call this point 2, x2, y2. And if I do this, I can plug these points into this formula, which is just a generalized way of counting like we did, and say y2. Now, I would highly recommend you substitute into parentheses. It will save you a lot of headaches on signs. It's very easy to have hiccups on signs. So I highly recommend that you plug in your values into parentheses. Much less likely to screw stuff up. And so what I see here when I do this, I have y2 minus y1. 5 minus 3 is 2. And then I have -1 minus 2, which is -3. So when I look at this, we will verify this by sketching a picture right quick and see what it is we are looking at. But I have the points -1, 5, so -1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, -5 right there, and 2, 3, 1, let's get that back. This thing keeps switching over to eraser. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. I'm trying. There we go. And what you'll see is, yeah, this is definitely a negative slope. It's going down. It's going down 1, 2, -2. And to the right, 3, 1, 2, 3, -2/3, which we talked about earlier in the last video, that those two are mathematically equivalent. So yeah, whether you count it out or whether you use a formula, both strategies will get you there. I highly recommend working with pictures. Help make sense of it visually. It can be a big